Call the meeting in order. I'd like to welcome everyone tonight to our Burke County Board of Commissioners regular meeting for Tuesday, January 17th, 2023, held here at 6 p.m. Madam Clerk, we will now do roll call. Commissioners Smith, Burns, Carville, and Vice Chair Britton are all in attendance. Our County Finance Officer, Mr. Simpson, and our interim county manager, Alan Lyons. I would ask everyone to please silence your mobile devices, because I forget to do that sometimes myself. And if you're here to speak tonight, please activate the microphone at the lectern before speaking, so you'll be heard on the YouTube recording, please. And if speaking during informal public comments portion of the meeting, please register with the clerk. Forms are located at the back of the room if you wish to sign up to speak. At this time, I will now ask our good friend, Pastor George Logan from New Day Christian Church, to come forward. He will lead us in the invocation. And I'd ask everyone to please remain standing as our County Attorney, J.R. Simpson, leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's bow our heads in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time together this evening. We thank you so much for your love and your goodness and your mercy to this county, to these commissioners. We ask, Father, that you would be with each one of these commissioners. We ask that you would give them wisdom and revelation of who you are as they make decisions on behalf of this county. And Father, you said if anyone lacks wisdom, that they could ask you for it, and you would give it to us liberally and not withhold it. So we asked you for wisdom. We asked you, Father, to endow them with wisdom, anoint their minds. Thank you, Lord, that they have the mind of Christ and the Spirit of God dwells within each one of them to teach them all things and to guide them into your truth. And we're so grateful, Father, tonight that love prevails. And you said in your word, Father, 1 Corinthians 13, that love is not fretful, it's not resentful, it's not irritable, and it believes the very best of every person. Yes. So we thank you that love prevails here tonight and love prevails in this county. And I thank you and praise you, Father, that you, as you do, you look over each and every person in this county. And so it is for those who you have called to this one office of commissioners, that they very well look over the whole of this community, from those who are in the eastern part of the county to those who are in the western part, to those who are centrally located, that they have your mind to think for each person. And so we thank you for that, Father. May your word prevail. May wisdom reign. And Holy Spirit, we receive your presence here tonight to do as you will and as you please. And we take authority over anything and everything that would try to hinder, thwart, or prevent your will from being done. Yes. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you all.
Please join me in the pledge of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen, our first item of business is approval of the agenda. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Or are there any corrections to the agenda at this point? If not, we have a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you, Commissioner Burns. All those in favor signify with an uplifted hand. That is 5-0, Madam Clerk. That will get us to our next item, approval of minutes. The previous minutes were submitted for May 27th, 2022. That special budget meeting, June 7th, 2022, pre-agenda meeting. That was canceled due to lack of quorum, and June 16, 2022, special pre-agenda meeting. Gentlemen, are there any corrections to those minutes? If not, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved to approve the minutes as you just described.
Thank you, Commissioner Britton. All those in favor signify with uplifted hand. Madam Clerk, that is 5-0. That moves us on to item number 6, presentations. Always one of our favorites. Pet of the Month, presented by Caitlin Settlemeyer, our Animal Services Director. Caitlin, who do we have here?
We have Archer today. Archer is going to be our very first pet of the month for 2023. So Archer is a young guy. He's about a year old, very active. If you've met him, he should probably jumped all over you. So he is seeking an active family. He is super dog friendly, loves toys. That's why I have one in my hand, and is so eager to please. So if anybody's looking for a dog to maybe do some competition, some obedience training with, he is your guy because he just wants to sit, he wants to please, very friendly with other dogs and good with cats. So this guy has been some family a really great addition. So I would say please come down and adopt him. We also have a kitty cat of the month. We took a different direction with Dana. We are normally presenting our super friendly cats, but Miss Dana has been with us a little while, and the reason for that is if you stare at her too long, she will smack you. So if anybody's looking for a kitty cat that's just a little spicy, because I think we probably all feel that way sometimes, Dana's your girl. She has been with us for a little while, but just know she may draw blood if you take her home, but she is really sweet. Sometimes she loves to be loved on. So that's Miss Dana. We do have quite a few events coming up for February. So Animal Services is hosting a Dog's Day Out, so you can come and check one of our dogs out. Take them on a date for the day, and if you swing by the Human Bean, you get $1 off your coffee, so they're partnering with us in this event, so that's fantastic. And also our dogs will get a pup cup. So that's really fun. That's a free activity. Anybody is eligible to come down and take part in that. And our Animal Services Foundation, that is our nonprofit that's established to support the shelter. They are doing some fundraiser events for Valentine's Day. And we have 2 of those. We are doing doggy and kitty grams. So for $50, you will list an address for your significant other, friend, co-worker, and we will deliver either a dog, a puppy, or a kitten along with a cupcake, and they will get a 20-minute cuddle session with this, and then we will have to go to our next stop. It's a really great thing to do and always brighten someone's day, so hopefully some businesses will allow this to happen. For those people who maybe Valentine's Day isn't your favorite day, they are also hosting what is called Love Stinks. And for a $25 donation, we will write a person's name of your choosing, pad or the bottom of a litter box. So that may be fairly popular. Or you can do your spouse or your boss or whoever it may be that you want on the litter box. So those are all some fun events that are coming up. So feel free to check us out. Follow us on Facebook. We'd love to see you guys come down. Check out our Animal Services Center. It's tiny but mighty, that's for sure. We try to do a lot of great things down there. Of course, we are always looking for adopters and fosters, so that's where you can reach us at. If you guys are here, if you guys get out here before 7, we're open until 7, so come down and visit us.
Thank you, Caitlin. Gentlemen, comments? I got to say, you've got some creativity with some of these events. They're always entertaining. Caitlin, thank you so much.
Thanks.
And I would encourage everybody to please adopt Archer, the dog, or Dana, the cat, or the many other animals we have at the animal shelter. And I'd encourage pet adoptions, pet fostering, and volunteering to the animal services. So please, if you have the time, please help them out. This will bring us to presentation number 2, gentlemen. Health Department, presentation of 2022 Community Health Assessment presented by our good friend Shay Moore, Health Education Supervisor.
Good afternoon. Okay, it's on.
It is on. Good evening.
Good evening, Commissioners and Chair Mulwey. So just giving a little insight back to the community health assessment. This assessment is prepared every 3 years, and the purpose of it is provide the community and the shareholders with information and insight into the health of the community at large. So the 2022 Community Health Assessment was finalized at the end of last year, although this process did begin in September of 2021. With the help of the Burke Wellness Initiative, a survey was developed and focus groups were scheduled to record responses from the community members. We knew this assessment was going to be different this go around, just because the pandemic was going on, and we knew that it had affected everyone in some way or another. Through this data collection, we learned of the trials and struggles that so many individuals and families faced over the last 2 years. Food insecurity, job loss, children falling behind in school, mental health struggles affecting both parents and children, ongoing substance use struggles, and more. Many of these challenges were already present, but the pandemic exacerbated them in many ways. And while the same responses were given over and over that we heard, we know that not two individuals went through the same living situations. In June 2022, the Burke Wellness Initiative took the results of the primary data, that was the survey and the focus groups, and they compared it to the secondary data that was pertinent to Burke County. So secondary data showed us that Burke County was either remaining stagnant or was increasing in childhood poverty, substance use disorder, adult obesity rates, and healthy food access. With this information, a voting poll was given and priorities took place, and the results were as followed. Mental health came in as number 1, substance use disorder as number 2, and obesity with risk factors came in as number 3. The Burke Wellness Initiative will now work to create a community health improvement plan. This will be worked on for at least the next 3 years, focusing in on these 3 main priorities. So with this being the 3rd time that substance use disorder has been mentioned as a priority over the last 7 years, something must change. And at this time, I don't know what that answer may be, but I do know that this is not a one-size-fits-all solution that we're looking at. So whatever strategic planning takes place, whatever programs are created or redeveloped, everything must be looked at through an equitable lens. And I look forward to coming back to you all to present all the progress that we make on these. So.
Okay, thank you. Gentlemen, comments, questions?
One quick question. The information, the data that you've compiled for the previous 3 years, is that used by other agencies such as the Council of Governments, or do they conduct their own surveys?
I'm sorry if I misunderstood your question. So the what was collected in this process to gather the information, yes, it could be shared by the Council on Aging, yes.
Any other questions or comments, gentlemen? Johnny? Oh, I saw your light come on.
I'm going to make a motion.
Okay. I just want to say thank you, Shay, for all the tremendous work you've done. We're indebted to you. I know that took many hours, countless hours, and involved many community members, and we understand it's quite an undertaking. And I want to thank you and the health department and all our community partners for participating in that. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to make a motion to accept the 2022 Community Health Assessment Report as presented.
Thank you, Commissioner Carswell. All those in favor signify with uplifted hand. Motion carried 5-0, Madam Clerk. Shay, thank you so much. You have a good night. That'll bring us up to item number 7, scheduled public hearings, community developments. Item number 1, community development, zoning map amendment ZMA 2022-05 in public hearing. This will be presented by Alan Glines, our interim county manager.
Thank you, Chairman Mulvey, members of the commission, and members of the public. You're being asked to review a request from Steve and Jamie Gassner to rezone 2 parcels of land totaling almost 20 acres from residential 2 to general business. This is an aerial, existing aerial of that property. The total site is actually about 33 acres. And so the Gassners are asking that an area of 20 acres oriented about like this be rezoned to match the neighboring property next door, which is general business as well. And that's all off of Moose Lodge Street in Morganton. As I said, there's 2 parcels that would be rezoned and brought together as one parcel for the development of a future campground, is what they want to do there. Having a little trouble advancing that slide. Let's see if I can get that. There it is. The future land use map tracks carefully with current zoning. And so that area does show future housing expansion in that area. However, the blueprint Burke plan, which is what we use for this kind of thing, future land uses, provides a framework for growth, and the growth and the needs so that the plans are flexible enough to be adapted for reasonable requests that can be made to blend into the character of the neighborhood. If proposed, the rezoning will be similar to the adjacent Moose Lodge property and will still provide a buffer of about 13 acres on the east side for the nearby residential community. So that area won't be part of this, and that's an area on the side here. So that will provide a buffer against all this residential uses here of about 13 acres. The area that would be rezoned would be right on there on the west side of that. The property also abuts a stream, and so there would be a buffer for the stream and for other uses across the creek, which included churches or activities there. I'm having a little trouble with the former, there it is, okay. Current zoning shows the R2, and that request, like I said, is for the general business to match up with the neighboring tract, and I'll just move on to that property, that next slide. There it is. This is the properties right here in this zone, and this is the Moose Lodge tract right through here off of Moose Lodge Street. Staff reviewed the application, and we provided some comments on it and some commentary, I guess. It's, as I said, adjacent to existing general business zoning district. There is an existing commercial campground adjacent to the site. This would match up. The owner also owns that property to the north and east of the subject of the request, and that provides a large buffer for residential subdivisions and homes within the surrounding area. The stream to the south would provide a buffer for it from a church and residences on the other side as well. The county is in need of more commercial uses to create jobs, and the Blueprint Burke Plan recommends growth for recreation-based uses to serve visitors and residents of the county. And if the parcel were to be rezoned tonight, the site development plan would be reviewed by multiple agencies within the county and local folks to review for compliance with safety and other requirements. So that would come with that. The planning board did review this recommendation on December 1st, and they recommended approval with a vote of 4-0. And we're just going to go through this, some other photos of the street. This is close to the actual site, and the vehicle there is sort of showing where that access would come in. It would be improved, but it would go in right about that site above the actual existing campground with the Moose Lodge right there. And this is the top of the road, Wisnet's facility there, and then there's just other uses, open land, and a cemetery across the road, and other houses scattered throughout Moose Lodge Street. And then this is the end of the road with the existing camping and other facilities there for Moose Lodge. Commissioners, I can answer any questions for you, or we can open the public hearing.
Gentlemen, questions, comments?
Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. There being none, I will now open the public hearing. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak to this issue? If so, please come forward. There being none, I will not close the public hearing. Gentlemen, what's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I move to adopt ordinance 2023-01 approving ZMA 2022-05 for a parcel totaling 19.93 acres consisting of a 12.405 acre parcel and a 7.52 acre portion of parcel as shown on Plat Book 60, page 96, with the residential 2R2 district to the general business GB district. The rezoning request to general business district is not in keeping with Blueprint Burke strategic land use plan because the area is shown as residential infill, but considerations have changed to now support the request. The property bounds another area of general business, and the owner is seeking to develop a business appropriate to that specific location. The rezoning to general business is reasonable and in the public interest because, number one, the site is adjacent to property with similar zoning and sufficient area is remaining around the zoning parcel to protect residential areas. Number two, the Blueprint Burke Strategic Plan Use Plan encourages innovative recreation, tourism-focused land uses that are supported by necessary infrastructure to complement and enhance the character of the county. Number three, by action of the Board of Commissioners, the future land use map is amended to general business without need for separate action.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Britton. All those in favor of the motion signify with uplifted hand. That is 5-0, Madam Clerk. Thank you very much. That brings us to item number 8 on tonight's agenda, informal public comments. I'll remind that each speaker has 3 minutes to speak, and the podium is ready, Madam Clerk, and the light is on. So do we have folks that wish to speak tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have 5 individuals that have pre-registered to speak tonight. The first one is Miss Jane Cantwell.
My name is Jane Cantwell, 501 Riverside Drive, and I've been a resident of Burke County for 15 years. I'm here to express my concerns about the comments made by a board member during a recent presentation by the Burke County Health Department. I would like to quote the statement that caused my concern. I see words here. Equity is one of them, cultural bias, health equity, cultural competency. Just coming from an old conservative who knows a little bit about the Constitution and used to teach Western civilization, that sounds a whole lot like critical race theory and social justice, which are 2 tenets of communism and Marxism. What are you afraid of? What undercover spies have infiltrated Burke County Health Department? Who are the enemies of the people? And what is the origin of your fear? Just coming from an old immigrant who knows a little bit about communism and Marxism, this unprovoked attack on the health assessment report sounds a whole lot like another Red Scare, similar to what happened in America after World War I, and then again in the 1950s during the McCarthy era. Those were dark times in our country's history. Will our grandchildren read in the textbooks about the Red Scare of the 2020s? But let me ask you again, what is your knowledge of communism and Marxism? Do you really know what you're afraid of? I grew up in the former Soviet Union in a Russian Jewish family. Like all children, I was indoctrinated from an early age, becoming a Red October child in the 2nd grade, young pioneer in the 4th grade, and a member of the Communist Youth in the 7th grade was compulsory. In college, I majored in foreign languages, but indoctrination was a part of the curriculum. Like all students, I had to take such classes as the history of the Communist Party, Marxist-Leninist philosophy, and even scientific communism. Here's my red diploma from 1990. And here's another red document. It is my expired Soviet passport. It was issued for residents abroad in exchange for my internal passport, which was an identical document, but on the first page, on line number 5, it had the word Jewish. Everyone's nationality and place of residence was recorded in their passports so that everyone could be tracked. There was no justice there, social or otherwise. I thought justice was here. And here's a different document. This is my naturalization certificate, issued in 1998. Like many people, I cried and hugged complete strangers standing around me during the ceremony. I was proud to become a citizen of a free and just country. But now I want to ask, can this country live up to its own promises of freedom and justice? Can this county do it? Engaging in witch hunts and looking for communist enemies has not worked in the past. It will not work now. It will not work here. Let the Burke County Health Department do its job, serving urgent health needs and serving the culturally and racially diverse population of this county. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Cantwell.
Dr. Leslie McKesson.
Chairman Wongley and My name is Leslie McKesson. I live at 202 LaFerre Drive in Morganton. I'd like to welcome Commissioner Burns and Commissioner Smith to this body, and I have two very brief comments to make to you this evening. First, I want to thank Commissioners Mulway and Carswell for attending the Martin Luther King banquet this weekend past. I'm grateful that you chose to fellowship with your constituents and to recognize the contributions of Dr. King. I hope you found the presentation informative, thought-provoking, and inspiring. I'm especially grateful to Chairman Mulway for issuing a gracious invitation to those in attendance when you said, if there's anything the commission can do for you, let us know. I respectfully point your attention to 250 requests that have come before the commission monthly since January 2021 from many of the people who were in attendance at that very banquet. Requests to take action regarding the Confederate monument downtown. For 2 years, voices of concerned citizens of Burke County have come before the commission. I submit that on this issue, we have let you know, perhaps in unprecedented numbers. And I offer that we await your action to facilitate discussion or some clear, visible action to acknowledge these requests and make effort to unify the community that you lead. Secondly, regarding comments made at the last meeting of the commission during the report of the Burke County Health Department, I encourage the commission to attend to the expertise of the trained and experienced professionals in the health department. By their very employment, you have placed confidence in these medical experts and their capacity to steward the health and well-being of this county's citizens. I ask that you place paramount and ultimate importance on validated findings, that you reject the political misuse of words like diversity, equity, inclusion, social justice, and critical race theory. The comments made regarding the department's report should be recognized as partisan rhetoric. I trust that this body will not fall into an ill-informed philosophical foxhole, but will instead intentionally work to make well-informed, evidence and experience-based decisions intended to improve the quality of life in Burke County for all its citizens. Thank you, and my prayers are with you.
Thank you, Dr. McKesson. Madam Clerk?
Minister Alicia Conley.
Good evening to the Burke County Commissioners. My name is Minister Alicia Connolly. I live on Dearborn Street in Morganton, and I am the president of the Burke County NAACP. I am here in response to the comments that were made regarding the report given by the Burke County Health Department. I want to say that we were encouraged by the detailed report that was shared by the Burke County Health Department, focusing on those needs of those in our community, especially around access to mental health, substance abuse, and obesity. While we were encouraged by the focus of this report to bring resources to all of Burke County, we were deeply discouraged by Commissioner Smith's remarks about this study. He used an opportunity to unite our community and to provide life-giving help to those in need, and turned it into a decisive political moment, getting support to our community so that people do not have to suffer the loss of a parent or a child from an overdose has nothing whatsoever to do with Marxism or communism. This is dangerous, and this misplaced language and a dangerous perspective coming from an elected leader that is sworn to support all members of the community. Commissioners, You say that the goal of Burke County is all about advancing. But statements like those that came from Commissioner Smith set us back, divide us, and make us lose focus from the real work of building a healthy Burke County. What was equally discouraging was that none of his fellow commissioners spoke up to counter Commissioner Smith's comments. So as a community and an organization, we ask that you take the time and do that now. We want to hear from you support for all members of the community, and we ask that you publicly call out Commissioner Smith's narrow and dangerous reading of this study. As Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. says, it's always the right time to do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Conley. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Sam Avery.
Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Sam Avery. I live at 115 Riverside Court in Morganton. And my following words paraphrase an email that I sent to you this morning through Chairman Mulvey. Much of what I want to say has been said much more eloquently. I'm going to give you the perspective of a guy that's not as smart as the two people that preceded me. The words Phil Smith used to me publicly expose his real motives. When he evaluated a comprehensive health assessment and he dissected one page and he pointed out words that he objected to. Words are important, and so is that health assessment. I read the newspaper account. Then I watched TV to make sure the newspaper got it right. So I feel confident that I wrote down the words. And then I needed to get a dictionary. And I need to do some research. And I did. I got the Merriam-Webster dictionary. And I researched some of those terms online. And I'm not going to go through them here. But they're in my email. Referring to these words and terms, Mr. Smith disingenuously said, quote, "That sounds a whole lot like critical race theory and social justice, which are two tenets of communism and Marxism." Well, then I had to do a little research on communism and Marxism, and none of the sources that I found referred to a single one of those words at all. Thank God I found some learning resources that define the words and terms that Mr. Smith disparaged. And I'm totally baffled and I am alarmed by the comments of someone who describes himself as an old conservative who used to teach Western civilization. My closing comment is this. Mr. Smith's comments never address the mental and physical health needs of the people of Burke County, because what Phil Smith was trying to accomplish had absolutely nothing to do with bettering the physical and mental health of all the citizens of this county that he was elected to lead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Avery. Madam Clerk?
Carla Kincaid.
Is Carla here?
Here she comes.
Good evening, Carla Kincaid. I just wanted to come in support of our NAACP president and what she said. I agree in all that's been said in reference to the statements that were made in addition to it Also, looking at it, I felt more led to come and support it by looking at it. Reading it could not have given me the same feelings that I had on it. And I know how much we have came forth throughout the year, a reconciliation, about the unity in this community that we're trying to work toward. And that definitely was not reflecting, I don't think, on what you as county commissioners see as something that's going to unify us as a county. And so on behalf of the NAACP and the community and all those that have gotten up and spoke, I just wanted to say ditto, and that I was also terribly embarrassed by that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kincaid. Madam Clerk,
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
that's all we have. All right, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I'll remind everyone that we do not ever respond to public comments. But as chair, I'll take a point of privilege tonight and say the Board of Commissioners are elected officials, and each has the right to voice their opinion. The views of one commissioner does not reflect the views of the others. Thank you. All right, gentlemen, that'll move us to item number 9, consent agenda. County Manager,
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have a resolution concerning a road closure presented as revised at each of your seats regarding the NCDOT. That's been changed. From the clerk, we have an appointment of Hintzman for certain county boards. There's 2 of them noted. The clerk also asked for the reappointment of for the Library Board of Trustees. Also, we have a reappointment for the Local Emergency Planning Committee team. Finance has asked for the acceptance of SCIF funds. And the Health Department, a resolution to direct the expenditures of opioid settlement funds. The JCPC, a resolution supporting the compression salary increases of the Division of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Facility staff. The Tax Department has provided the tax collection report for December 2022. The Tax Department has also provided the release of refund report for December 2022. And that finally, the Tax Department has approved approval of a collection agreement with the town of Valdez. And that concludes the consent items.
Thank you, Alan. Gentlemen, you've heard Alan. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, Commissioner Burns. All those in favor signify with the uplifted hand. Madam Clerk, that is 5-0. Tonight, we do not have any items for decision, so we'll go directly to reports and comments, and we'll start with Mrs. Pierce.
No comments tonight, thank you.
Okay. Mr. County Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since the last meeting of Commissioners on December 20th, 2022, I have reviewed and answered a foreclosure complaint filed by the town of Valdez concerning the county's interest therein. I've received an offer to purchase certain property owned by the county and am processing that request with the appropriate county authorities. I've received the proposed criminal information system users agreement and criminal information systems servicing agreement on behalf of 911 and gave my recommendation concerning that. I have reviewed the block grant application, the community services block grant application of Blue Ridge Community Action. I have reviewed the public records request and advised human relations regarding same. I have reestablished contact with owners of property that the county has an interest in and have prepared an offer to purchase and contract concerning that. I have reviewed and approved the lease extension agreement for the old Jonas Ridge Convenience Center. I have reviewed new materials filed in Monroe versus South Mountain that the county was dismissed from in May of '22, but which now seek to bring the county back into the action. And I have reviewed a proposed lease extension for the Department of Public Safety with the county. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson. Madam Clerk?
No comments for me tonight, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Glines?
Mr. Chairman, just want to welcome the new county manager, Brian Epley, who will be starting February 1st. So we look forward to having him here.
And we want to thank you for all you've done during the interim. Commissioner Smith? Commissioner Burns?
Just want to reiterate how proud I am to be sitting here to represent all of the citizens of Burke County. And I value you, and I just want to make sure that you understand and know that. And my phone line's open to any of you guys anytime.
Thank you, Commissioner Burns. Vice Chair Britton?
No comment, sir.
Commissioner Carswell?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have many comments tonight. I do want to go back to one of the greatest things that's happened in Burke County as far as I'm concerned, as long as I've sat on this board. It's about time, and we all made it up to Kathy Road, and we should be very proud of Unix. We'll be moving into that property up there with over 500,000 square foot building, modeling company. Thank you, sir. Employing more than 125 people with millions of dollars, and I'm proud to announce today that they're probably going to ask for more of that property. They have, I can't divulge a whole lot of what else has happened, but they'll probably be needing more of that property. So I'm just so happy that we were able to open that property up after many, many, many years. Alan Wood deserves every bit of credit. I remember when Alan came to work for us and we had our first meeting, he said, "Johnny, what do you expect from me?" I said, "I want you to take care of staff, and I want you to put something on this darn," and that's not what, darn dirt up here. And so he has accomplished both of those. So I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of this board by maintaining the will to go forward with that project. So I'm very happy. And that, I think the 100 and some people that were up there was a tribute to what has been done. My regular reports are in the package. I just want you to take a look at the library report. Jim is on a project for the Morganton Library. That building is not in the greatest of shape. Some of the property in front of it will be doing a lot of work out there for the Morganton Library. So please take a look at what will be going on at the library here in Morganton. It's a major project, and money's there to do this project, thank goodness. So please everybody that can get by the library, please take a look at that. Thank you, sir.
Well said, Commissioner Carswell. Thank you. And as Johnny said, that was a great groundbreaking. It's been many years in the offing, but we have achieved liftoff finally. So Johnny and I also, as Mr. Minister Conley said, it's into the Dr. King dinner and had a great time Saturday night. I will remind those because many of you have spoke before us before. So if you'll please pay notice, our calendar looks different next month. Commissioner Carswell and I have been accepted to take the Advanced Leadership Corps in Chapel Hill. It's a week-long intensive course in Chapel Hill. So that is February 5th through the 10th. And so our regular meeting, our pre-agenda is usually the first Tuesday, and our regular meeting is usually the third Tuesday. But next month, it's going to be the second and fourth Tuesday. So I don't want anybody getting confused. Please let others know that. And I want to thank Madam Clerk also for having us the TDA here in the room today. That worked perfectly. Tourism Development, we had a lunch meeting here today, so that worked great. And Jeff and I will be meeting with our counterparts with the school board tomorrow morning. And at this point, that is all I have, Madam Clerk. I would remind everyone, please do not litter. Cover your loads to landfill and convenience sites. Spay or neuter your pets. And a couple of birthdays. Margaret Pierce has one. I'm not gonna say how old, and I'm not gonna say how old I'm gonna be. Yours is the 18th, mine's the 28th, so, and hopefully Kay's got cake out in the back. So at that point, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have, so we'll move to Madam Clerk presenting vacancy announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the audience, fellow commissioners. We have the following opportunities for citizens to be involved in county boards and committees: the Adult Care and Nursing Home Community Advisory Committee, City of Morganton Board of Adjustment and Planning Board for the ETJ, Burke Senior Center Advisory Council, Child Protection and Child Fatality Prevention Team, East Burke Senior Center Advisory Board, Council on Aging, Burke County Board of Health, Partners Consumer and Family Advisory Committee representing traumatic brain injury, and the Hickory Regional Planning Commission.
And so, folks, if you have the inclination to become involved, we have plenty of opportunities to get you involved, so please contact our clerk, and she will put you to work. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, there is a need for a closed session, so we will need a motion to go into closed session pursuant to NCGS 143.318.11A 3, 4, 5, and 6. We have a motion, gentlemen.
So moved.
All those in favor signify with uplifted hand. All right, and we will meet in closed session. If you need to take a quick break, please do. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a proper motion to come out of closed session. Gentlemen, what's the pleasure of the board?
Chairman, I move that we approve the starting salary for a nutritionist 2 position at 96.26% of the pay range, $62,000 for grade 22. This position serves as the director of the WIC program at the Burke County Health Department.
Thank you, Commissioner Britton. All those in favor of the motion signify with uplifted hand. That is 5-0, Madam Clerk. Now I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, all those in favor? Surprise, surprise, that